little rotation start to pop up there moments ago. There it is. So we're south of Kansas City in Bates and Cass County. This just popped up. This goes until 4:45. It is currently 4:14, so we've got a half hour left on this tornado warning. So we're going to walk through this and see its radar. Estimated, it's not confirmed, but it is a radar indicated tornado rather. It goes until 4:45. So let's see what we have here. Let's pause this clock and zoom in on this tornado warning as we break back into severe weather mode and severe weather coverage. This looks like it would be just south of Harrisonville. So Garden City, you'd be included in this. Let's get the lightning off. We do see a little notch just west of Interstate 40. So what I'm looking at, what grabs my eye, and we're going to look at this on the Doppler winds here in just a moment, is just southeast of Drexel and just northeast of Amsterdam. So this would be northern parts of Bates County. So here's Cass County, here's Bates County. That little spot right there, it looks like the storm is rotating and trying to curl something around. It's what we call a hook echo. And it's got a little notch there anyway. So this would be west of Archie and west of Adrian, west of I-49, and it's moving northeast. Let's see what this thing's moving at. 40. It's not going as fast as the storms were earlier, which were up to about 75 miles per hour. So Garden City, you're included in the warning. So this is southeastern parts of Cass County, northwestern parts of Bates County until 4:45. So a new tornado warning that we have here on the map. It's just south of Harrisonville. East Lynn, you're included in this on the northwest side. And what else do we have with this? We'd probably have 1 inch hail, so a 1/4 inch hail. It's not a humongous hail producer. So let's get to the Doppler winds and find out where we're seeing the spin on this. All right, there you go. It would be just west of Adrian. And if you're not getting a tornado, wow, there is some strong winds. That right there, some really strong inflow into the storm, but that's not the tornado. If there were a tornado, it would be right here. So let's see, this would be just east of Merwin. Merwin, you're not under a tornado threat. It's moving to your east. But around Adrian and Laceyville, so here's Laceyville, looks just north of Laceyville. Burdett, right around the town of Burdett in northwest Bates County, potential for a tornado right here. So this is 18 Highway, it's just north of 18 Highway, really strong winds out ahead of it. It's just south of Main City and kind of close to the Cass County line. Let's track that. Let's see who's going to be getting it next for a potential tornado. It's not incredibly strong rotation, but it is a rotation signature. So there's 40 as it goes northeast. Okay, so that would be, I want to get the warning on here too so everybody can see that. So there we go, we track it with that warning. So Burdett, it's there right now. Next would be Archie at roughly 4:37, and then Garden City at 5:02. That's past the warning time. The warning time goes till 4:45. We'll see if this kind of small area of spin is going to stick. If that maintains itself, then Garden City and Creighton, you would be following that. And eventually Fenwick, that'd be 5:21. So that's a little ways down the line. But just want you to know that there are signs of a tornado that are on radar right now. And I'm thinking back to Sunday, because when we had Sunday, we had 2 tornadoes in Johnson County, Kansas on Sunday night, and they didn't really display on radar. So sometimes they drop quickly, the radar doesn't necessarily capture them very well, and then they lift back up, and you end up with EF0, EF1 kind of low-end tornadoes. And now we have one that's displaying on radar, so you need to be in your tornado safe spot. My point with that is even if it's not confirmed, if we haven't had eyeballs on this thing yet, this is a dangerous storm. It is a tornado warning, and you would not want to be driving. And, you know, looking at 49, there's probably a lot of people on 49. There's our latest scan, so it's moved quite a lot since then. We'll get a fresh track on that. But also, you know, mobile home, if you're in a trailer, you know, great affordable housing. I know a lot of us are in, you know, pool behinds, things like that. That won't work in a tornado. You need to find some place that's going to be safer, like a site-built structure, something like that. Lowest level of your house, if you don't have a basement, not everybody does. Interior part of your house, you want to get into a hallway, get away from windows. Bathrooms, even though they may have windows, they have plumbing in them. Those are usually pretty good spots too. So here's the updated spot. It's moved out of Burdett. This is getting closer to the Cass County line now, so it's moving toward Archie. I think Archie's going to be the next village or next town that we see that could have a potential tornado. This is the Cass County line. So this is East State Route A. This over here is Archie. Right to the north of where the potential tornado would be is we've got East 339th Street, and it intersects with East 347th Street. If you're in this area near the Cass County, Bates County line, that's the best description that we can give you for where it may be. So Archie, and I want to get these winds too, because these may be strong enough winds to cause some tornado-like damage. They're really popping in here. I'm going to have to get the warning off. So let's get rid of that. Let's see what kind of wind that we have. right there in that bright spot. 63. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust within that line. So, and that extends in this kind of little line down here by Adrian. So some really powerful straight line winds here and a little bit of spin. We lost a bit of the rotation with this latest scan. So I think what this would be is a brief kind of drop down, lift up tornado, and they can do that a couple of times, but that is a tornado warning that we have there, and we see potential with some spin on the radar there. There's also going to be some strong winds on the backside of this too. Those would be straight line winds east of Merwin. So tornado warning if you're just joining us until 4:45. Right behind it is a severe thunderstorm warning as this marches toward Garden City, Archie. Archie looks to be next. That's on the southern side. Here's Archie, the very southern side of Cass County in Missouri until, again, 4:45. So that's right near Interstate 49. Next in line would be Garden City. While we're here, let's pull the view out, and I'll get you back to the traditional Doppler. And again, if the storms have passed you, like these things are just moving along, they're just moving very, very fast. Once they're past you, your severe threat will be done. But we were mentioning we have this tornado watch. We have the threat for tornadoes today. That's why we've had a first warn 5 weather day on this for a long time, for this potential, for what's happening right now. I see a lot of lightning with this cell, too, with this cluster of strong storms that's going through the southern part of our coverage area. And that lightning tells us that these are very healthy, and they've got a lot of inflow into them. So the storms are breathing rather well. If we look north, Kansas City's done. We are done in the metro, all right? So you may still be windy. We're getting some fairly strong backside winds, but now it is just thunderstorms that are over Buckner and Blue Springs and just north of Lee's Summit, around Lee's Summit. And then we've got some new severe thunderstorm warnings up to our north. Okay, go ahead, Jack. Okay, let's go to Warren here. Warren, what do you have on your end?
Yeah, hey, this is related to the Kansas City Metro. I'm checking the Facebook comments that are coming through, and there are signs, reports of sirens all over the downtown area, Midtown, South KC, up near the airport, Smithville. And I just want you guys to know, we do not have any sort of circulation right now in the Kansas City Metro. No rotation, no tornadic threat at all in Kansas City, in the Metro, anywhere, even up to Smithville, the airport. So I would just want you to know that there is not a threat for a tornado in the Kansas City Metro. And I just have seen so many reports coming through. So just wanted to give you a little update there.
Thank you, Warren. That's good information. And don't rely on a warning or on a siren if you're in a tornado warning. Not all of us are within range of a siren. And if you are, you may not hear it inside your house. That is old World War II technology. And they don't always sound. It takes somebody to push a button, and sometimes the buttons don't work. So I didn't hear a siren is not, that's not good enough. If you're under a tornado warning and you know it, that's all that matters. The tornado warning itself, not the siren. Don't worry about sirens, okay? If you hear them, they're designed if you're outside and it's a last resort to warn you of a tornado. That's all that they're for. I do wonder, and I'm going to go to Melissa with this, with the sirens that are going off within the metro, if it's because of these strong backside winds. Even the storms are gone, the severe threat is done. We're still getting 50, 55 mile per hour wind gusts. If that's causing some sort of confusion, I don't know if you have any information on that or not, Melissa.
I have nothing from the National Weather Service, but I do have the wind speeds and gusts that were taken at the top of the hour. So what we're looking at is still Atchison, St. Joseph, seeing gusts up to 53 miles per hour in Atchison, 59 in St. Joseph. Kansas City at the top of the hour, so that would have been at 4 o'clock. We have seen 38 mile per hour wind gusts. So behind this system, we are still seeing very gusty winds between about 45 to around 60 miles per hour outside of the storm. But in terms of reports from any of the other resources that we haven't seen any reports for wind over here.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. Good to know. Not sure why the sirens are going off, but in the metro, we're done with our severe threat. So back to our tornado warning. This is now looking to cross over into southern Cass County. It looks like it's moved out of Bates County, and it's into Cass County with the rotating part of the storm. So where I'm looking at is right around Archie, and next in line would be Garden City. So this tornado warning goes for another 20 minutes. We've got 20 minutes left on this, and it's radar indicated. Last that we had is not confirmed. We haven't had anybody spot this one yet, but it's possible that we have one there. So let's pause this. I'm going to get you a fresh track on where we see it. I think it's right around Archie from what I can see here. Adrian, it looks like you're in the clear. Let me put a loop on this and kind of go back, and it does look like there is still certainly rotation. It's not as pronounced as it was just a few scans ago. So there you can see how bright it was west of Adrian. And it was pretty easy to pick up that strong line of winds. Those are really strong straight line winds feeding into the storm. This little spot right here, that's why it got the tornado warning. That was telling us that, hey, this thing's spinning like a top. And since then, it's lost a little bit of it, but it still does have some spin. It's come down a bit. You don't see as bright of inflow into the storm. So we'll see if this gets extended, but we need to treat it as though there is a tornado here because it's possible. And it would be right near Archie. I would guess right west of Archie from our latest scan. And that was about a minute and a half ago. So this thing's going to cross I-49 here rather quickly near or right over Archie, it looks like. Lone Tree is going to be rather close as well. So this is southern Cass County, and it's on a trek to the northeast. That would get it toward 7 Highway and Garden City. This will be the next line, all right, so where it goes up here. Let's put the warning back on so you get an idea if you're in it or not. And if you're to the west of it too, then you're in the clear. I want you to know that you're in the clear if you're southwest of Archie. If you're in Adrian, you're still officially in the warning in Adrian, but the rotating part of the storm, the tornadic part of the storm is past you. You have a severe thunderstorm warning that continues there. In fact, I'll pull this out and you can see this big box that goes all the way down into parts of Miami and Lynn County and down into the rest of Bates County. That is the severe thunderstorm, but within that yellow box, within the severe thunderstorm where you could have some hail and some high winds, that's the part why we're breaking in, is because of the threat of a tornado. Okay, so fresh track coming in. It's still 40 miles per hour last that we had seen. So let's get you an updated time. So there's 40 right there. That'll get it outside of the warning area for some of you on the back end of this. But Archie, essentially there now, next Garden City. Garden City, that'd be 4:52, and then 5:06, again, that's past the warning time. That would be Gun City and Fenwick if this does continue to spin and rotate and if that warning does continue. So that's the latest with our tornado warning. We do have some other severe thunderstorm warnings. Melissa, let's kick it over to you and see if, what's going on with those.
Yes, we have 2 new severe thunderstorm warnings over the last couple of minutes. This is mainly now north of the I-70 corridor. So if we take a closer look at this, this includes our Caldwell, Carroll, Livingston, and Ray counties. So if you're in Briarmore, Polo, as well as Chillicothe, you are included in this severe thunderstorm warning until 5 p.m. This is for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Once again, we've been talking about these storms moving very quickly over the last couple of hours, or really as we've been first warning you about this as well. So still moving around 75 miles per hour towards the northeast. If we go a little bit north as well, if you are in Bethany, you're clear of the storm right now, but Canesville, Ridgeway, and in the Princeton area, you are eventually going to be in the path. Packing a little bit of lightning. This is for Harrison and Mercer counties, and that continues until 4:45. So about 20 more minutes. And we haven't seen any reports regarding these to our north in either of the severe thunderstorm warnings. So that's the latest information I have in terms of what's going on to the north of I-70. Luke, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. Good stuff. All right, so we have this big, long arm. So that's the event, just sweeping on through. And when you're on the back side of that, you're done. Look at our camera here. All right, so you're going to go from storms to sunshine in no time. That's exactly what we saw in Kansas City. Melissa just hit on some of the warnings that we had to the north. I do want to hit on this thunderstorm that's just east of the 435 loop, looking at Richmond and Blue Springs, and if you're in Lee's Summit, yeah, you still have some storms around. This is not severe. It's not severe. It's a healthy thunderstorm in Richmond and Wellington, but the severe level winds and the hail is just not there. So that's what we see with that. Okay, yeah, this is a live look from I-70, and you can see from our camera, you know, that's what it looks like, and it's just racing on by, but you'll have some strong storms. If a warning were to pop up, we'd let you know about it, but right now we're below severe levels there. Warren, are we on the warning there, the tornado warning?
Yes.
Okay, let's kick it over to Warren, see what Warren can spot with this tornado warning that we have in Bates County and northern Cass County.
Yeah, sure thing. Before we dive into this, I just want to reiterate there is no warning for the Kansas City Metro, no tornadic threat in Kansas City. I know the sirens were going off, and we've had so many reports. That was a mistake. There is no signs of rotation or damage or destruction in Kansas City. The severe threat is moving to the east. Now, as we go down into the tornado-warned storm here, that is now to the east of Archie. I mean, really not super organized with this. I don't want to discount because we do still have some really bright greens that we're picking up here. Wind that's rolling towards the radar. So still within this could have some pockets of maybe 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, but no significant signs of rotation, at least what we typically look for with the couplet of the reds and the greens, you know, to show that rotation in our atmosphere. So this is going to continue to lift closer to Garden City. those of you in the Garden City area, be ready at least for some gusty winds. And what's this Highway 7, Missouri Highway 7, maybe up into the Creighton area. So this will continue to lift, again, very fast. All of these thunderstorms are moving pretty quick, anywhere between 60 to 70 miles per hour to the east. There still is a tornado warning in effect. But at least right now, no significant signs of rotation, and we are not seeing any sort of confirmation or reports, anything like that. Luke?
Yeah, Warren, that's pretty common whenever you get these to try to line out like they did. So this is kind of a big cluster of storms rather than one storm all by itself. These are the kind that drop brief tornadoes. They don't tend to drop, long track tornadoes that we just watch roll across half the state. It tends to be, you spot it on radar, they go down, they come right back up. We're seeing signs on radar that the rotation may be coming down a little bit, but we still have the tornado warning, and it is still rotating, just to a lesser degree. This whole line that we have down here, so here's Kansas City. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning. We're going to get to that here in just a moment. But this line that we have that is to our south in Cass and Bates County is the most intense that we see right now, and we've had several signs of maybe some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. Warren just talked about that. So outside of the tornado threat, we see what those winds can do, because we just had it in Kansas City on Sunday night. So we may have some reports of damage come out from just that aspect, with a small area that could be seeing a tornado or potential for that tornado, and right now what would be southern parts of Cass County. Here's our new tornado warning. So this is the cell that we were just talking about and not seeing severe level limits, and now it has just achieved that. So a new severe thunderstorm warning that is northeast of Lee's Summit. We're talking about east of Blue Springs. We'd be looking at Wellington. Here's Richmond. Here's Carrollton. This one, that's the core of it right there. It's just south of Richmond, right around Wellington. Let's get the radar lightning off, rather. And what are we seeing here? So this warning goes until, I'm going to guess 5 o'clock. Let's see what it says. It goes till 5 p.m. So if you're in portions of Carroll, Jackson, Lafayette, and Ray, severe thunderstorm with a tornado possible. So what that means to me is that the National Weather Service is seeing some spin here. It just isn't quite strong enough yet to say, hey, we're confident enough that this is capable of dropping a tornado at any point, but it's being monitored for that. So let's investigate where that may be if you're in some of these areas. All right, so we'll go back to our winds. I'll see what pops out to me if we see anything. I'm going to guess it's right there around Wellington. So not seeing anything strong, but I do see some fairly stout straight line winds. We'll go to Melissa here in a second. I want to see what what are they estimating the winds and everything to be. But it looks like maybe some 60 mile per hour winds around Wellington right now, with maybe a little rotation in there. It's nothing strong, but it's just being monitored. So that's something that we're going to track there. So Melissa, let's see what you got.
Absolutely. So they have warned this storm for 60 mile per hour wind gusts and a quarter-sized hail. So as Luke said, he was seeing some indications of those gusty winds just a second ago. This continues to move very quickly at northeast at 65 miles per hour. So these storms continue to dart towards the southeast, and this continues until 5 p.m. as we talked about. But that's the latest information really that we have from this. And there have been new information right now coming in, I'm reading. So far, no reports for anything that is happening for this storm in Carroll, Jackson, Lafayette, and Ray at this time. So we have 60 mile per hour wind gusts possible, as well as quarter-sized hail, and they're monitoring that potential with the tornado possible tag, as they could see some very weak rotation with this storm moving towards the east, still very quickly, I should say. So that's the latest information I have for you. Luke, I'll send it back.
All right, thanks, Melissa. Let's get back to the tornado warning. We did just have Bates County was dropped from that tornado warning. So now it's just southeast Cass County for another, 13 minutes or so. It's kind of turned into a blob on radar, which I like to see. Earlier it had this nice little hook to it, which is fairly common whenever you see storms wanting to spin. There's maybe a little something right there. So let's see where there may be a tornado still, or potential for one in Cass County, southern Cass County. Yeah, that's where it would be. So now we'd be looking at, earlier we were talking about Archie. Archie, it's past you. You are no longer under the threat of a tornado. It has moved to your east. This is not going to come back your way, but there's a little something in here that is kind of spinning. There's a little bit of a twist right through there and some strong straight line winds there. So I'm looking at Garden City now. It's not there at the moment, but it would be close. If there is a tornado, it would be west of 7 Highway, southwest of Garden City. It would be east of Archie. It's east of Interstate 49 in southeastern parts of Cass County. That's the only spot right now that has a tornado warning. And with the signature that I'm seeing, I might be a little surprised unless we have, I'd be surprised if this gets extended. We'll see what the National Weather Service decides to do here, but they may have storm spotters that are out there and they're saying, yeah, this has got a rotating wall cloud. We're not necessarily getting that on our end. We're not seeing that report, but my point with it is we do have a tornado warning here, and it's possible, though it is seeming to come down a little bit. So around Garden City, get ready there. Quick City too, probably northwest of Creighton if it continues on its current track. Let me loop this for you here. So you can see, watch that spot right there. Okay, watch as it tracks like this. So it's kind of moving toward Quick City, maybe near or just south of Garden City with strong winds all around it. So fresh track coming in now. Let's get our warning back on. And it's going 40. So let's see when it would be essentially out of Cass County here in not a whole lot of time. So there's Cass County going northeast at 40, right about there. So Quick City, we were talking about that's already past the warning time. That's at 5 o'clock, and then Blairstown and Chilhowie, that would be 5:21. Blairstown, that'd be 5:07. We'll see what it does there, if it continues to spin or not. It's a little bit of spin right now. It's not a tremendous amount, not as strong as it was earlier when it was near Adrian or west of Adrian. It's embedded within a larger severe thunderstorm warning. Let's get back to the first 1.5 traditional Doppler, what you're used to seeing with the rain, and there you go. Big, healthy line of storms, possible 60-mile-per-hour winds. Let's see what the hail looks like in some of these. Around, we had it earlier, up to about an inch. Let's see if that's picked up at all. Okay, so not a huge hail producer. It'd be up to about quarter-size hail is what we'd be seeing with that storm. So a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, a lot of strong winds, 60, 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts not out of the question. This one that we have, this is a new tornado, our new severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag that is east of Kansas City. I'll put the warning back on here. Go ahead, Rhett. Okay, Melissa, let's go over to you. I was showing this hail core that's moving toward Wellington. That one could be a little larger, 1.5 inches or so. Let's go over to you.
Yeah, I have some good news to share. So earlier, we had that tornado watch that encompassed the entire area until 10 p.m. However, the good news is now that threat is mainly east of the I-35 corridor into portions of the Missouri area, but much of Kansas, besides Linn and Bates County, still hanging on in that tornado watch until 10 p.m. But otherwise, Kansas counties have been given the all clear, as well as our northwestern counties in Missouri. That includes the St. Joseph area, Maryville, in the all clear, KCK in the all clear as well. So as we continue to see this line dart to the east, we will likely continue to see this tornado watch continue to be getting shaved down as it is moving so quickly at this time. So that's the latest information we have regarding the tornado watch. Luke, I'll send it back over to you. But two, I think it's going to be important to touch on how quickly this is moving and potentially when we can see it end coming up in just a little bit. We could toss it back.
Yeah, that's good. We want to know when this is done. Essentially, when the storms come and they're out, you're done. So that's good. And the tornado watch just got dropped because of that threat really coming down. Let's kick it over to Warren, see what Warren has on his end. He's been tracking some storms there as well, including this tornado warning. Warren, what you have?
Yeah, let's look at the northern severe thunderstorm warnings that we have right now. We've got 3 individual warnings in a couple different cells. This was linear. It was in one large line, and now we're getting some separation again, which makes me a little more concerned about new rotation. And the reason that I say that, I'm going to go ahead and stop this, is because oftentimes when storms have a little bit of breathing room, they can tap into some better ingredients on the south edges here, get some inflow to come into the thunderstorms. So this specific one that's sort of along the river north of Higginsville, near Oak Grove, that is one to watch with some inflow there. And then the one up into Chillicothe, just to the west of Chillicothe, we'll watch for a little bit of inflow there. And then one up near the Iowa state line. So if we do take a little bit of a look at our velocity product, our Doppler winds, you can see in really through the heart of Livingston County, we do have quite a bit of bright red hot spots that are being picked up. Now, we do get a little bit away from the radar here, so this could be scanning higher up in altitude above the ground. Nonetheless, this is all of those cells north of I-70, very much worth watching, because I don't think it'll take a whole lot to get some good rotation embedded in with some of these specific cells. So we'll keep a close eye on these storms that are lifting up into north central Missouri. Luke?
Yeah, good to know, Warren. And you're right. You get those things by themselves, and they sometimes do this, like this cell did here. So this is our tornado warning. This is just for Cass County now. It goes for another 7 minutes right now, 8 minutes with this tornado warning. So it's right about here. So this is our warning. What we have is a severe thunderstorm, and a portion of that severe thunderstorm has shown rotation, and that prompted the tornado warning. And at one point it was rotating fairly well. So that goes again till 4:45. Let's see where the tornado may be, as it's probably approaching the Garden City area. So you see this little spot right here. You see how the storm kind of even has a little curl to it. You can see that little inflow. If there's a tornado, it would be very near Garden City, and it would be south of Gun City. If you're in Archie, you're out of the warning. You may still have a portion of Archie within the warning, but you're out of the tornado threat. Let's go to the winds here and see what they're looking like, if I can spot anything. Yeah, it would be just probably near or south even of Garden City. So let's get some highway. There's 7 Highway. It'd be west of Creighton. Here's Creighton. This is 7 Highway. Here's Garden City. If we've got anything on the ground, it would be in this spot right here. So that would be just south of Garden City. It might just miss Garden City if it stays on its current track. It actually picked up its speed just a little bit at about 50 miles per hour. That would put it on more of a track toward Quick City. See if there's any. Sometimes you really got to zoom in here to see if there's any. I don't want to miss any communities that might be within the threat of this storm. So this is East State Route N in southeastern Cass County. It would be just south of that. There's our latest scan. It's about to cross 7 Highway. Let me pull back out. And it did pop back up a little bit. So here's what just jumped out to me. See that bright spot? That bright red spot, that is a new and increasing. So I'm going back in time here. Watch how we didn't have any red. You look for red and green, the Christmas tree colors. There it is. It's back. So it may have cycled up and cycled down, then cycled back up. So this would be just west of Creighton now, and southeast of Garden City, just southwest of 7 Highway. For if there's a tornado, that'd be it right there. So let's track that one, 50 miles per hour to the northeast, as it picked up in speed just a little bit. And I got to say, too, out ahead of that, there is this whole line right here. All of that, it could be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's fairly strong straight line winds. So there we go, 50s right there. All right, so Creighton, that'd be 448. Now, the warning would have to be extended into Creighton, into that area, because that's actually outside the warning right now. Chilhowie, that would be 520. And Leeton, that would be 539. So that'd be about an hour from now for Leeton. We're going to track this one and see if it continues to pose a threat for a tornado. It certainly does right now. It dropped down, and then it's looking like it's coming back up. So that's the latest with the tornado warning. I'm going to get it back so you can see the actual warning, and then I'll pull the view back out a little bit. Looks like the severe thunderstorm warning got extended too. That looks new as it extends over into Henry and Johnson counties in Kansas. And then sliding to the east. Okay, so let's go to Melissa. Melissa, do you have anything coming through chat-wise, anything on reports? What do you got?
I do. Just now, they're planning to expire the tornado warning forecast.
Okay.
So that's good news. And that is all that I have in terms of reports from the National Weather Service chat.
That's interesting with that latest scan. When was that sent?
That was sent at 4:41. So it is 4:41 right now.
Okay, so I was wondering if that, because that latest scan popped back up and we saw those winds pick back up. So it looks like in 4 minutes, or 3 minutes, they're going to drop that tornado warning, and they continued it as that new severe thunderstorm warning is what it's looking like to me now. So let's see this new severe thunderstorm warning. I bet it's got a tornado possible tag with it. Is probably what they're going to do. They're just going to say we're going to keep tabs on it. So that would be Henry and Johnson counties in Missouri. I think earlier I said Kansas. I apologize. Henry and Johnson counties in Missouri. Severe thunderstorm warning till 5:15. So 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and nickel-size hail. So really what it looks like they're thinking is that the rotation cycled down, and now it may be more of a straight-line wind threat, even though we did see there's a little spin there. But sometimes storms spin. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's a tornado threat. And that has come down enough. And it's broad. All right, so what you look for is something that's rather tight, what we call a couplet, where it's like kind of a ball, and this is spread out into more of a bow. So that's more of a straight line wind signature is what it looks like. So tornado warning will be allowed to expire, and we'll be able to return back to our regularly scheduled programming. We do have the tornado watch that goes until 10 o'clock tonight. For those that are still under it, though, it is being trimmed as these storms, when they come through, you get them, and then they're out of your hair in no time because they're just flying by. And once they're past your area, then you're going to be totally clear of all of that. So we may be continuing the 4 o'clock news here in just moments, and then we'll have the 5 o'clock news as well. Here's a broad view as we've got a big line of severe weather, multiple severe thunderstorm warnings from the north up here near the Iowa border, stretching to east of the Kansas City metro, and now multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in our southern coverage area as well. Warren, are you on? Which ones are you on?
Yeah, we could talk about this cell here that has the tornado possible tag on it, and that is going to be for the very, very far eastern extent of Jackson, but you should be scaled from that here shortly. So that's going to include Carroll, Lafayette, and Ray counties here. So the area of note is going to be near Wellington, right on the river there in southern Ray County and northern Lafayette County. So let's take a little bit of a closer look in on that with our velocity product here, and let me switch that over and see if we can get you a good reading on it, just to make sure that we're not seeing any good rotation. And for the most part, I'm not really, let me move this up a little bit so you can see it, but it would be right over near Wellington. And on 24, you see a little bit of a bright red and some dark reds and a little green. That could just be real messy rotation as of right now. There's no tornado warning with this, but there is that tornado possible tag on it. So that is worth note and worth watching here along the river, along Highway 24, so Lexington, and then maybe up into the Hardin area as well here shortly. So that is something we will keep close tabs on. Luke.
Thank you, Warren.